pretty late, you know. You laying on the table now, in other words, asking. Pretty late to ask now, right? Because now, if you decide to question him and he's a phony, he may tell, remember, the other assistant is there with the chloroform, right? To put you to sleep. So you won't feel no pain. So if you get alert, he might tell him chloroform him quick. I think some of you already have been chloroformed, though. So where is his diploma from his master teacher for such a high office that he has assumed, a doctor of all doctors, that all the sick patients should turn to? That's something, isn't it? The doctor of all doctors, all the patients should turn to. Where's his diploma? Where's his authorization? Qualify him to be the doctor of all doctors. Go out and seek the students who were in the school with this clandestine doctor under the same master teacher. And they will tell you that he's not only a dropout, but a drop away from the master teacher, even denying the credibility of the master teacher, publicly denouncing his master teacher. Being unsuccessful at that, he then comes forth saying he now represents his master teacher, only he is much greater than his master teacher, and appoints himself as the chief doctor. One day this impostor will have to answer to the proper authority for his bold, audacious actions. What will be done to this great deceiver and hypocrite, to his master teacher, who is the only one who has divine authority? The master teacher is the only one who has divine authority. In the case of we the Muslims, the master teacher is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's the teacher of us all. You hear people out there talking about Malcolm, what a great man Malcolm was. Malcolm was only a little student under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he wasn't a good student at that. And I was in the minister's class before Malcolm got there. I was in the minister's class after he left. I know why he left. I knew he was a big phony while he was there. It's because he came to me, trying to get me to turn against the messenger. Way back there when I was even in Youngstown. Just think over that now. Coming to me, trying to show me how important he was and how unimportant Honorable Elijah Muhammad was. I knew he was a big phony then. And I saw the science that the minister used on this man. You understand? I mean, he was using some high science on Malcolm. Think over this now. The trick others. He knew Malcolm wasn't with him. So what he says here, when you got somebody that's against you, don't throw him away. Bring him real close to you. Praise him and honor him so you can see who else is with him. Then everybody else that you see join with that one that you know is the enemy to you, that's your enemy too. That's high science, isn't it? And one day when Malcolm left, all the others went to the devil out there right now trying to make the black people in America think that Malcolm was some great man, enemy of God's last and greatest messenger, a hypocrite. He got you walking around with pictures of Malcolm on the front of your shirt and the back of your shirt. Just think over this now. Malcolm lost his life as a hypocrite to Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Denounced the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Got shot right in the mouth. Quieted him down. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And all those with him, Elijah Muhammad called me in when this happened, whispering to me in my ears. He said, now, brother, we have to be very careful because they have gone underground, meaning all those ones that was with Malcolm. Now they're going to run away and act like they're not with Malcolm. They're going underground. They'll be working until they get some power and authority to come forth again. And we see some of them coming forth now, here and there, acting just like Malcolm, acting worse than Malcolm. As Mr. Muhammad said, he said, I got one more trial to go through. And he said, I doubt if I have one follower. He said, the reason why, because there's a hypocrite going to come forth who will make Malcolm's hypocrisy look like child's play. Who is that hypocrite that he was talking about? Because he didn't name him. But he said a hypocrite is going to come forth that will make Malcolm's hypocrisy look like child's play. In these final hours, you have to be very careful that you don't get deceived by false prophets and smart, crooked deceivers. Is that clear? You had better pray to Allah. You need to fast and pray and ask Allah, guide you among those whom he has guided aright. Notice I always say that prayer when I'm with you. Guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright. Preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved. Don't put me out there among those ones who you ought to have your brains shot out, your children have their brains shot out, come in and find your house on fire and all your babies being burned up. I don't want to be guided among that type. Do you understand? Guide me among those whom you have guided aright. Preserve me in this last terrible day of judgment. Think about this now. So we have many prayers like this, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down upon, but upon the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors. That's the path you want to be on in this last day, isn't it? Oh Allah, guide me on the right path. And the right path is the path that he bestowed favors. The wrong path is the path of those who go astray after they've heard thy holy and divine teachings. The holy divine, why is it holy and divine to you? Because God himself, Master Farad Muhammad, revealed this to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Is that clear? This is the final day, and the final day is a day of separation. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. In the very beginning, in the making of the devil, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said God told him that there was 59,999 black people who were dissatisfied. 30% of the people were dissatisfied. He said, but 70% were satisfied with the king. He said, in his final day, we're getting rid of the devil. He said there will be almost 98, almost 100% dissatisfaction. Almost everybody will be dissatisfied. That's the way it is right now. Right now, among you sitting out there right now, 90% of you are dissatisfied right now. Who are they dissatisfied with in Yaqub's time? The king. Think about this now. Who was the king? The king was God himself in disguise. Dissatisfied with the king. Wait till you find out who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad really is. They want to say he's dead. Think about this now. Not as yet. He has to go through what all the other prophets went through and come out victorious. You know, part of the story that they tell about Jesus, Jesus had to overcome death, didn't he? Although he didn't, that Jesus didn't overcome no death. Is that clear? He's still dead, and we have his body in Omar's temple in Jerusalem to prove it. But Elijah Muhammad in the last day, he's written up there in the book of Revelation, I am he who was dead. I am he who you thought was dead. But now I am alive forevermore, and I've got the keys to hell and death. I'll read it to you because I know you think I'm making it up. That's the first thing it's telling you in the last book of the Bible called the Revelations. Listen to this. John was having this revelation. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice of a trumpet saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. He said, I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle around his chest. His head and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Think about this now when he says his eyes like a flame of fire, red eyes, in other words, and white woolly head. That's a black man, isn't it? And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in an oven, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars. And out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shining in his strength. I want you to take notice that he had out of his mouth was a sharp 2-edged sword going out of his mouth, cutting in both directions. Think over this now.